Oh, you're joking. Oh my God.
No, it was not recording. Fuck! There's no way. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our house. I know last time you guys saw this house, we were just moving in. We're a bit more moved in. We're gonna do like a house tour in a little bit, but you can already see some of the elements popping up behind us, things that reflect our personality. And speaking of personality, today is a different video. I'm going to share some things from my life to help you get to know me a little bit better. There's not really any natural way to start this, so I'm just gonna start and we're gonna go from there. My real name is Mark, but I have the nickname Marko because my mom used to speak Italian. She's not Italian, but she loves Italian culture. And when I was a kid, she'd call me Marco mio. My friends heard my parents answer the phone and started telling me, oh, Marko, that's my nickname. And so, yeah, kind of stuck. I used to sing in Danish when I was a kid. I had a Danish nanny and she would teach me songs. There are videos somewhere of me singing in Danish. I can barely see out of my right eye. I had two injuries. First, when I was born, they used forceps to take me on my mom and pinch the eyeball. And secondly, I had a fingernail to the eyeball during middle school. So when I need to like shoot a gun or bow and arrow or whatever, as one does, I have to do it left-handed. I also think this has dramatically reduced my hand-eye coordination and ability to play ball sports because I can't judge distance very well. I'm a man of many mustaches. I've had a Frenchy mustache, handlebar mustache. I've even had a monkey tail, which is when you shave everything besides what would resemble a monkey's tail creeping around your face. And check out my ID. I don't know if I can share all this information, but oh yeah. Gets me on speeding tickets all the time. Officers like, do you know how fast you were going? Let's see some ID. That's a good mustache. I was on the high school wrestling team. I weighed 112 pounds, and that's probably why I'm short. I studied Latin in middle school. Didn't want to, it was required, but it has helped me learn other languages since. I am an autodidact. Ding! I always believe that you can't let your school get in the way of education, so I've taken it upon myself to learn as much on my own as I can. I learned Spanish at a late age when I was 24. I learned French after that, and then learning a little bit more of Italian and Portuguese as well. My first favorite book was Cannery Row by John Steinbeck. It's about these guys during the Great Depression that are all unemployed and homeless, and I think it really taught me empathy for the poor and for the homeless at a young age. It's stuck with me ever since. I am obsessed with old maps. That one over there. I just love the sense of adventure that you get when you look at our globe and you just imagine adventures happening, and old ones are even cooler because it kind of shows what they perceived the world to be back then. In 2008, I joined something called the Dirty Hands Caravan. It was a volunteer trip organized by the actor Sean Penn to go from Coachella Music Festival to New Orleans to rebuild houses damaged by Hurricane Katrina, volunteering along the way. I'm double jointed in my thumb. I'm an obsessive note taker. I've got dozens of old moleskin notebooks that I used to carry in my back pocket. Now I use Evernote, and I use it all the time. I clip articles, save it in Evernote, but I still use paper notebooks for like the initial thoughts. I've been regularly journaling since I was 20, so I've got dozens of full notebooks that are just like getting my thoughts clear by journaling every morning. There have been times when I've done it every single day. There have been times when I haven't done it for months at a time, but it has been a big part of my life for the last 10 years. My ideal dinner party with anyone, dead or alive, would include the following people: Hunter S. Thompson, Oscar Wilde, Frida Kahlo, Sir Richard Burton, and Bill Murray. I probably would invite some other people too, but those are the first ones that came to mind. When I was in college, I was the social chairman of Sigma Pi fraternity at UCLA. I really love throwing parties. I am a very social person. I love meeting people and inviting them and hosting. And I think that since we've been traveling, not being able to host people has been one of the biggest frustrations of my life. So now we have a house and I can't wait to host some people over here. That being said, I can be quite shy. I'm especially around girls. I actually get really shy around girls. I don't know why, but I do sometimes. I once bought a $300 motorbike in Ho Chi Minh City, or Saigon, and tried to ride it all the way across Vietnam. I made it about 2/3 of the way until I crashed it in the jungle, and then eventually had to leave it on the side of the road. I gave it to a farmer and hitchhiked my way to Hanoi because my visa was expiring and I had to get out of the country. Amazing adventure, but I would love to redo it with a proper motorbike. Turning down a job one time saved my life. After college, I was living in Mumbai, India, doing an internship in microfinance. At the end of my internship, I was offered a full-time opportunity to live in Mumbai, but I turned it down to pursue my passion of writing and travel writing, which I'd done a lot of while I was in India. And a couple days after I left were the 2008 Mumbai terrorist attacks. They targeted all the places where I used to hang out, including the bar where I would go to every day after work, Leopold's Cafe. I mean, I don't know if I would have been there, but it felt like if I had taken the job, I very well could have been in that cafe where, you know, they shot and killed many people. You know, it's not something I take lightly, but I did kind of feel that my decision to follow my instinct and to trust my heart led me out of that city, and that if I were to pursue a creative path, that I should try to use it to prevent those sort of misunderstandings that create problems like terrorism in the first place. I one time tried to memorize all the capitals in the world using note cards. I got pretty far. I once worked as a deckhand on a ship in the Mediterranean. I started in Mallorca, we went to Ibiza, Barcelona, south of France, Italy, Corsica, and Sardinia. I love writing and performing slam poetry, but I don't do it nearly enough. When I was in college, I wanted to be a diplomat, and I interned at the Department of State in Washington, D.C. My favorite director is Wes Anderson. As you can tell, I love all of his movies. My favorite one's probably The Royal Tenenbaums. All right, this is an embarrassing one. I have lumps behind my nipples of male breast tissue. Like, that's no easy way to say that, so I'm just gonna show you and stop rubbing myself off camera. You can't really see it, but there are definitely lumps there. And when I was in high school, that happened and I felt super insecure, you know. I had some pretty mean nicknames at points, and, you know, I didn't really feel very confident about that, especially when combined with braces and acne. Yeah, it wasn't really a nice period of time. They're still there. Apparently they are not cancerous, so don't worry. I've checked it out. I'm still here, survived, and yeah, it's just part of me. One time when I was a kid, I almost lost both these nipples. I went head over heels on a bicycle trip with my dad, mountain biking. Long story short, let go of the brakes at the wrong time, flew past my dad, went over the handlebars, bike comes over like a scorpion, hits me in the back of the head. I slid forward on my chest, shaved off the majority of both nipples, but again, survived. I'm a survivor. My father's mother's side of the family is French Huguenot, as in Protestant French who fled to England to escape persecution. One of my ancestors arrived on the Mayflower, and I am a son of the American Revolution. I'm totally an old soul, which is why I love wearing three-piece suits, old mustaches, driving retro motorbikes. Even though like it's way too hot to wear three-piece suits in California, I still love doing it. I camped in Zuccotti Park during Occupy Wall Street. I spent 1 month walking 800 kilometers of the Camino de Santiago. I have a fake front tooth. This one right here is half fake. I got knocked out twice. First, a door slammed into my face, and secondly, I fell on my skateboard and swallowed it. I am horrible at beer pong, but I'm pretty good at flip cup. I've been subscribed to The Economist magazine and New York Times since I was 20, and I read both publications, but especially The Economist, religiously. I was on the snowboard team at UCLA. It's still my favorite sport. My first album was Elton John. Yep, it's because of The Lion King. That was a great song. And my second one was NWA, because I went to middle school and learned about rap music. And I've been kind of balancing out that sort of sensitivity with street cred ever since. One of my life goals is to give a TED Talk. Earlier this year, I gave a TEDx talk. It was really cool. I'll also include a link to that below. Generally, I really love public speaking. To me, it's actually easier than vlogging in many ways. Maybe not now, but in the beginning, I'd taken public speaking classes in college. Working a crowd and looking at eyeballs in the audience it's more natural for me than picking up a camera. My hair alternates from curly to straight every 7 years. Here's a picture of me freshman year of college. Here's a picture of me as a baby. In general, my hair is just, I don't know. I want it to be better, but it's just kind of untamed and gnarly. Creatively, I think I have been most influenced by two groups of people. The Beat generation in the 1950s, which includes Jack Kerouac, Allen Ginsberg, the poet. My favorite of all time is Jack Kerouac reading his prose over Steve Allen playing the piano. Search for that and you'll see what I mean. It's just amazing. My favorite meal is breakfast. And I believe that is a meal that you should almost always eat alone. When I was 4, I told my mom about the person who I was before I was Marko. It freaked her out. I told her this whole story about how I had been this other person when I was, that before I came down from the sky in the parachute. That's what I said to my mom. Growing up, one of my biggest inspirations was Tintin. Tintin, if you don't know who it was, is a Belgian cartoon. He's basically like a journalist with a little dog named Snowy, who he goes around the world solving mysteries and stuff. I definitely think that my sense of curiosity, the appeal of journalism definitely came from Tintin. Although later on would have been also influenced by other journalists like Hunter S. Thompson, Tom Wolfe, and the whole new journalism movement of the 1960s was a huge influence on going gonzo, on really like just reporting something by being there, experiencing it, and then telling your audience about it directly from your own experience. And now that's kind of what we do. I guess that's kind of the progress from Tintin to Thompson to vlogging. I got pulled out of kindergarten on day one because I had a Kiwi accent from my dad. He's from New Zealand. So they thought that I had some sort of speech impediment. The first day I came back and I told my dad, "Dad, it's not garage, it's garage." And they really just got the Kiwi accent out of me. So even though now my brother and I do a lot of different accent impressions, Kiwi is still the hardest one for me because it was like forced out of me. I also had like a lisp. I couldn't say J's, I said like the. So my mom's friend's name was Joni, and I called her Thony. I'm a work in progress, And if I were not doing YouTube right now, I think I'd most certainly be a journalist, probably a foreign correspondent for either a paper or Vice or something like that. I really respect what those guys do. Hopefully in the future, I'll be able to do a little bit of YouTube, a little bit of journalism, some creative fiction writing. I would love to have some sort of way of doing all of those things at once. My favorite way to travel is by train. I think this is probably because my grandpa took me to the model train museum when I was a kid. I've taken the Trans-Siberian Railroad from Beijing to Moscow. And actually I took the train from Lhasa, Tibet to Beijing and then took the Trans-Siberian. So really I went on a really long train ride and I had such a blast. I just loved it. I love trains. Even if it's cheaper, even if it's more convenient or faster to get from A to B by plane, I still prefer to take the train. If there's one thing that I have to do before I die, it's write a book. I have written guidebooks before. I wrote one on Argentina and one on the Basque Country, but I want to write like either a piece of fiction or I want to write like a non-fiction, like a meditation on a subject. I don't know, it's just part of me. Part of me has to write every single day. And if I don't get out thoughts, they die within me and it makes me more sad. It's kind of hard to explain. It's like I have to actually express myself. Now that we've been doing YouTube, I still am creating a lot. I kind of write the episodes for do the research and focus certain aspects of the storytelling, but it's not writing in the sense of prose. And of course, it's not just me. It's my brother is doing a ton of the input as well. So although this is creatively fulfilling, at some point before I die, I certainly want to write a piece of writing, like a book. So expect a book, hopefully soon. We'll see. All right, guys, so that's it. Thanks for watching. Okay, guys, that's it. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you know a little bit more about me. If you have any other questions, drop them in the comment box. And don't forget, my brother and I have both started our own channels. We're gonna be doing other smaller videos, so go check that out for some more personal content. In the meantime, you know what to do. Stay curious, keep exploring, and we'll see you guys on the road. And don't forget to like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to Vagabrothers for more travel videos from all around the world every single week. All right, guys, peace.